Isn't it fascinating that in order to get closer to ourselves, we usually have to step out to find us? So, hello, wonderful, beautiful, gracious, funny, brilliant people, or 300 of you. Welcome back to a new episode of Writing Feels Like Love, the Waffle Podcast. I am your host, Sisipho Sojola. So, you know what it means. You need to get cozy, baby. You need to sit down, step back, relax, because I'm about to talk about some shit. If you heard the beginning of this podcast, I kind of had this thought where I wanted to embody some version of myself. And with TikTok, you're consuming a lot people's perspectives on how to be the next or how to be a better version of yourself. Give me your most unhinged hacks in how you became the main character, blah 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 blah. And even in those kind of trends, people are sharing how they started embodying who they were, or at least embodying a version of themselves that they fuck with, that they like, yeah, this is me, this is who I represent. And in that, I saw something that said, oh, you need to create an alter ego of yourself, or find someone that you really would love to embody, like their persona, just their outlook on life, just their aura. Embody that person, become that person, learn, create like a character for yourself, step into that person. And at first, I was like, why do you need to step out in order to like go within? And it did bother me. I was like, I find inspiration in myself. Why can't I just be myself? And then after kind of really thinking about it and talking about it with myself, I realized a lot of who we are is because we stepped out of ourselves and became better versions, or at least seeked out more than what we know. When we are young, we are taught everything that we know from our surroundings. So, from our parents telling us what's right and wrong, to teachers teaching us what's A plus B. A lot of how we become who we are is basically by osmosis, where we absorbing a lot of what is happening around us, whether it is good or bad. It does shape who we are. And so you kind of give yourself this narrative or this belief or story that you are a certain type of person because of your upbringing, because of your circumstance, because of your outlook or your what's happening externally. And you tell yourself that's who you are, that's who you've always been, and there's no changing it. This is who I am. And so when it comes to this notion of, if you want to unlock a new character or to just unlock your inhibitions, release your inhibitions. You can embody someone who you respect and you see them, living their life to the full and kind of mimic that. And I think there comes a time in your life when you have to stop learning from what has been taught and interrogate why you are and why you are the way you are, who you are basically. And that's when like we get to an age where, when we become more responsible for ourselves, we maybe leave home in whatever capacity. Now we have our own bills, now we have our own eating habits, now we have our own cooking habits. Yes, everything that your family and your parents have taught you have kind of laid the foundation. But from here on out, you aren't really restricted to, oh, you have to wake up at 8 a.m. and go to school and go home by 4 and go to soccer practice and this. There isn't rules. You get to use what you have experienced and see whether you want to continue it or change it. And so it kind of makes me think like the real version of who we think we are is still a work in progress. And so to truly, truly want to see who you are or experience this version that you feel like exists within you, you do have to step out. Just as a child, after you are raised by your family, leaving home is the true testament on how you'll survive. They are there, they shelter you, they make sure that they're at arm's length if you need anything. But it is only when you leave the nest that you truly grow into yourself. And so, taking that same thinking that you need to leave to come back, it's actually very natural to kind of look like recreate that identity for yourself, because everything that's been taught to you, or everything that you are and you think you are, has been taught to you, has been you've experienced it through whatever was around you, and now you get to curate this version of you, this version where if you feel like you are meek, and being meek and shy and quiet isn't getting you far in the workplace or getting you far in your love life or just in general, and you're like, I'm going to be delusional and I'm going to create this persona until it becomes me. And at the end, you will realize that, oh, this has always been me. I just needed to release me. I use another example of Beyonce's Sasha Fierce. Beyonce felt like she had to separate the artist from the art. So performing and being this pop star is an art form. I feel like not everyone has that gift or capacity in order to be engaging and to literally be charismatic on stage. It is a completely different shift. And as Beyonce, the artist, or at least not even the artist, Beyonce, the person, she had to create a divide on who she felt like she was protecting, which is who she feels was her inner self, and created this persona who was, headlining shows. She was just that character. But, as she started after the release of Sasha Fierce, her other projects, you could tell that, okay, is it still Sasha Fierce or is it Beyonce or is it a combination of two? So as you started listening to her discography, you got to realize that, yes, that character had served its purpose of distincting who she was and who she shows up as. But further down the line, you get to see that it's really a gray area. It isn't boundaries of I'm this and that is that. You just saw, oh, this is a Beyonce product. This is a Beyonce album. It has the Sasha fierceness. It has the sultry soulfulness. It's all her. And so even in her exploration of trying to find out who she is, separating what she does to who she feels she is, to now creating bodies of work, which is a true reflection of her. It kind of like she had to take those steps in order to come back to who she always was. Like, whether you're listening to a Beyonce album, her first album, or a Cowboy Carter, it has the same foundation. You can tell that, oh, this is not a country album, this is a Beyonce album. All of her albums have this signature thing because although she was finding herself and her sound, the consistent part is that it was her, and she was true to herself to that extent, even though she was exploring. And so it's not really a bad thing to leave yourself to find yourself. You need to see what else is out there. Just as you leave home, just as you teach yourself new recipes, just as you teach yourself new habits, you need to find out who you are. Be your own muse. Discover more. Be curious about who you are and about yourself. And then you will find that, oh, there are actually common threads in all of these versions of myself, because it's always been you. It's always been in you. But the same can also be said that you can get lost in the source, in making yourself a muse and discovering more about yourself and exploring all these different facets of yourself. You can get lost. You can think, oh, you one way and think that's the only way. and you don't keep searching. That's why it's so important to have mirrors around you, like people, your mirrors to reflect you back to you in your self discovery and self exploration. I'm fortunate enough to have sisters who do this for me. I'm not one to talk about my struggles or my explorations. I normally just post about stuff. Like even my mom, she gets updates on who I am and what I do on social. I don't always like say like, oh, I'm gonna try this thing, because again, it feels like a very big thing, and there's a lot of pressure, and you now need to commit to it. And sometimes you just want to try it for like a little while and see if it sticks, and if it doesn't, then you go off to the next thing. And so whatever I am curious in or I want to explore more of, I just do it, and then I just post it. And so it's so healthy to have family around you that can still show you in the midst of this bouncing around things and finding out more about yourself. I feel like they know the most authentic version of you because they have seen you. And so when you are feeling lost and you're feeling like nothing is sticking, or even if you're feeling within yourself you're not sticking, it's good to have someone who has seen you before to remind you who you are. And so today's letter is actually one of those. Um, it's one of those letters. It comes from my sister, and oh, it's such a beautiful letter. And I just want to read it. And please feel free to inject your name in here. It's kind of like, it's such an affirming letter. She didn't date it, but I think this was written in 2020. So yeah, feel free to put your name in there if you just need a little bit of that reassurance of someone seeing you. To my dearest people, I am extremely proud of the woman you are becoming, Dasekai. The leaps you've taken both professionally and your private life show me now more than ever why I've always looked up to you. You have always been level headed and grounded, strong, and someone who moves at their own pace. You have always had a strong sense of self and direction, and your focus and drive is awe inspiring to say the least. My favorite layer, Yako, is your vulnerability and authenticity. I pray you continue to realize all your dreams and aspirations. Your wins have been a long time coming, and I know there's so much more to come. Continue to reap the seeds of your intentional, passion fueled, hard, and smart work. Never, ever, ever doubt the powerhouse you are. You are phenomenal. Congratulations on the new position and journey. I know you've been through so much loss and pain, but trust the process and know that because you are love, the love you receive will overflow. P.S. Sorry for tearing a page from your Snoop Dogg notebook. And then P.P.S. I carry you in my spirit. Lol. You know which movie I'm quoting. God legit. I love you, Mdasekaya. Continue to shine. Oh, guys. Oh. At your earliest convenience, please have sisters. That was from my sister Umpo. It's so funny. Like our names both mean the same thing. It's like, and we are about a year apart. So it always felt like we are Irish twins in some way. So at your earliest convenience, please get yourself a sister, number one. And if you can't get yourself a sister, because I know those are very difficult to come by, please get yourself someone or friends or your community. Let them write a letter of love to you. reaffirm who you are, so that in this whirlwind of life, you don't get caught up in who you want to be, that you forget who you are. And I think it's so, so, so important to have that that lighthouse. And that lighthouse is your friends. That lighthouse is your family. That lighthouse can be your lover. It can be a you that has written a letter to yourself 10 years before this moment. And you need to have that green light, that great Gatsby green light, that reminds you where to look and reminds you of where you're going or where you want to be. And so, in my exploration, my self exploration, in me giving up things and restarting things and going back to things, I pray that I remember the letters that were written to me, letters of love, letters of respect and comfort, that even though the tides may change and the tides may be high or the tides may be low, the ship I'm on knows its way home, and home will always be towards you. It's as if I needed this moment. I needed this reflection, just this note. I needed to remind myself of myself. I needed my sister, silently, my sister from 5 years ago, to remind myself of myself. Um, Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me the space to actually ramble and waffle on. I really, really appreciate you listening and sticking by me. And please ask. I mean, it's more beautiful when letters come organically. Like this one was a letter that was hidden and I discovered it, which made it even better. But even if it's not, because not everyone is, inclined to just write love letters to you, ask your friends, because you need that reminder. You need the people who see you to remind you of you. Ask your friend to write you a love letter, or you write a love letter to your friend, because you don't know if they might need it as well. Oh gosh. Anyway, as usual, my beautiful people, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode of Writing Feels Like Love, the Waffle Podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for riding with me, for listening to me, for entertaining me, and just being in the ship with me as we ride our way home.